Greetings, fellow enjoyers of day-old floor pasta. Welcome back. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and New Year's. Look, I don't really feel like writing an intro. It's pretty obvious why you clicked on this video, but I just want to preface that some of the popular games from this year I did not get a chance to play yet, otherwise they may have been on this list. Expedition 33 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Just wanted to point that out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be pretty lazy with this video, so feel free to leave this playing in the background while you pet your dog, make a sandwich, or activate Pot of Greed to draw 2 cards from your deck. It's really up to you. Anyways, let's get started. Here are my top 10 favorite games from 2025, and I hope you enjoy. Also, leave your list down below, I want to see that too. Number 10 is easily Battlefield 6. I was actually gifted the game by someone who wanted me to make a video on it. To give you the hilarious context here, I want to bet because I correctly guessed when this couple would break up in college, and so here I am with a free copy. It's not that this game was bad, but if you watched my video on it, I don't really play FPS games. They're just not my cup of tea, you know, but I really did enjoy my time with Battlefield. I want to say I have about 9 hours of total playtime, which is good for a game like this for me, but the graphics are amazing. I think this game is beautiful, and it really adds to the cinematic large-scale fights with me and my friend Logan. We would always enjoy that. Personally, I loved the close quarters combat. I forgot what the mode was called, but it's a 6v6 on a much smaller battlefield, pun intended. That was an adrenaline rush from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. And what I mean by that is I would get wrecked by shotguns pretty much the entire time. This game's got great gameplay, and it was noob-friendly enough where I noticed my own skills improving after such a short amount of time. Again, I love the cinematography here, especially of the larger fights. It's good, but that's all I really care to say about it. Arc Raiders was an interesting game. I say was because I stopped playing after they released the snow map. I forgot what it was called. But apparently this game is still going crazy strong. I just checked the Steam player count. It's still insanely high, which is great to hear. If they add enough updates, mayhaps I'll pop back in. I'll expand my inventory for the 20th time, and then maybe I can actually get some materials for my expeditions. I have almost 40 hours dumped into the game, and again, much like Battlefield, this is not the typical game I would choose to play on a Saturday night. However, Arc Raiders' gameplay loop is ingenious, and I'll tell you why. Your goal is to go up to the surface to scavenge materials and items to then bring back into your base for various purposes. While you are scavenging, these mechanical life forms known as the Ark will roam around the various maps. And they range from tiny drones known as wasps from the bloated tick-looking machines called bastions. And then it goes even higher to the queen or matriarchs. I mean, giant machines of unmatched strength and beauty. One of my favorite moments from this game was taking down the queen for the first time. It was spectacular. On top of this, you may also encounter other raiders with proximity chat. Nope, that's not how you say it. Proximity chat. There we go. And when I was playing, I don't know how it is now, but 90% of people were friendly and would actually help in most cases. I met some really cool people on here, like a cop who jerks off on duty. I remember him. He was pretty cool. But each attempt on the surface had so much going for it: potential loot, arcs, raiders, and the best part is they wouldn't even take that long. At most, you're looking at 20-minute missions, so it's easy to do 1 or 2 and take a break. It was a well thought out game. It was good. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to keep me playing or to kick it up anywhere higher on the list. At number 8 is Silent Hill F. Listen, I love horror games. You probably know that already. I'm playing through the whole Resident Evil series right now. Subscribe if you want to see that. Gotta take a breath. And I became a recent fan of the Silent Hill series when F was announced. Silent Hill Frick. Super excited for the monsters, the story, the themes, the visuals, everything that this game had to offer, and you know what? It delivered. One of my favorite moments of the game was fighting the pregnancy monster for the first time. That was disgusting, and I loved it. But what's really cool about Silent Hill, the entire series, is that each monster represents something psychologically. I won't get into the whole story here, obviously, but this monster, known simply as the birthing monster, is Hinako's fear of pregnancy made manifest, which I'm sure is kind of made obvious. But anyways, Hinako is the main character who defies what it means to be a woman in traditional Japanese culture. One of the first monsters you fight in the game is called the Kashimashi, and it symbolizes how women have to conform, even contort, to beauty standards, trying to appeal to their husband's demands. And it's pieces of lore and attention to detail like this that I absolutely adore. The side characters were written very well too. They stand out almost as much as Hinako, which is good. I mean, the whole story and atmosphere played beautifully together. Silent Hill F had some great imagery overall. The game was creepy and had a good story, but the combat was kinda and it did take up more of the game's time than I personally would have liked. But even then, I'm pretty jaded when it comes to horror games, so Silent Hill F was creepy, but not scary, if that makes sense. Like, my heart never really raced when I was playing it. This may surprise you, but I actually liked FNAF Secret of the Mimic more than Silent Hill F. You would think the scarier, more serious game would be higher with deep thematical themes. Instead, what's above it is like, Jack in the Box, Music Man. I genuinely had a better time with FNAF. This game had a really good mix between lighthearted humor or interactions and truly heart-racing moments. While none of the animatronics come close to the pregnant monster design-wise, I think they will become more memorable with time, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I remember my entire interaction with Jackie, where you basically get jump scared by her in the box, do a couple of puzzles, and eventually she escapes the box, and you're like, oh no, I gotta protect my virginity or something, I don't know. All the animatronics, for that matter, were good, and were different enough to keep your guard up. I mean, it was cool. This game had multiple unique sections, which made the game feel fresh and interactive in different ways. I'll be honest, my score for this game was about average when I finished it, but now that I'm writing the script for it, I have like a weird rekindled appreciation for it. Like, I can't explain it, but I missed playing this game, and that is surprising to me. Number 6 is not my favorite Doom, but a great one nonetheless. Doom: The Dark Ages. This game took a leap of faith into the cosmic horror dimension on top of hell, and at least for me, this was a great idea. I am a big, I'm a big colors guy. I just graduated in graphic design, and I just adore how there are distinct color palettes for each realm. Those dark greens for the cosmic realm were immaculate. And when combined with the giant squids and tentacles in the background, like, man, I love cosmic horror or like similar atmospheres. It's so freaking awesome. Dark Ages is more grounded in gameplay than Eternal, which in my opinion made it noticeably less interactive. It's not really a problem per se, just a shift in direction. I mean, I didn't mind being an unstoppable juggernaut with a chainsaw shield. I mean, how much more metal can you get? The dragon was mainly there to add scale to the maps, but you know what? The gameplay was decent. I'm not gonna, hate on it. Same with the giant mech, although the power fantasy of fighting Cthulhu as the Doomslayer will never be the same. Also, the music, still amazing as always. I unironically listen to Unchained Predator every now and then, because I like it that much. And then I always see that comment that says, can't believe they named a song after Dr. Disrespect. Really, my biggest complaint were the boss fights because they were kind of and most of them, when defeated, became mini-bosses, which kind of defeats the purpose to me. It's cool maybe once, but I just wish there was more variety, especially in the cosmic realm too. Like, I wanted to see more of the region and more cosmic beings. But anyways, kicking off the top 5 is Wu Chang: Fallen Feathers. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I never did a video on this game, like even a ranking, because it is such a good Souls-like. I could have done without the perverted clothing, and unfortunately some of the better pieces were like panties or something, like whatever, I guess. Wu Chang had a very steep difficulty curve because at first it felt like every boss was, manageable. Still relatively difficult, but I've played so many Souls-likes before. Then there was this one boss that was basically so hard I thought I was playing a different game. I forgot what the name was. It's these weird names, but I'll have footage of it on screen right now. It went from like a 6 to like a 9 immediately. And the crazy part is that difficulty did not go down for the rest of the game. It was like the first quarter of the game was the tutorial, and she was the wake up to reality moment. Call her Madara Uchiha. Like, it's crazy. I loved the bosses of this game though. About 90% were amazing and terrifying to some extent. I don't remember much of the lore here, but what I do remember was this disease called the feathering, where people or creatures would transform into bird-like monsters. That's all I remember. There was one boss who was basically this giant woman, but had a bird beak protruding from her mouth. Ew, it was disgusting, but it was so freaking cool at the same time. The boss design of this game was remarkable, and the gameplay was so good too. Similar to Elden Ring, you could stance break an enemy, but a unique concept here was you had this little meter where you could perform like magic tricks of pain and humiliation. Most of my gameplay consists of shooting this fire mask over and over again, but I would experiment here and there. What was cool was you couldn't rely on passively increasing your meter. Dodging attacks last second was crucial and beneficial. Wu Chang encouraged an aggressive playstyle, and it made the boss fights all the more fun. I seriously miss this game, and I may one day return because man, it was something else. So I know putting Monster Hunter Wilds at number 4 may seem strange, but hear me out on this. I can't in good faith put this game any higher because of the performance issues.
Oh, well, they resolved it. I don't have any issues on my side.
I'm not experiencing any problems, but I'm still mentioning it, and like, I just can't. Like, it used to eat up my CPU, bro. Their optimization is doo-doo dog water. Hopefully when the expansion releases, they'll have completely fixed it. But anyways, when it comes to the game itself, Wilds is amazing. Without the expansion, it's not technically complete yet, but for what we got, I think it's a solid base game. Gogmazios was the most recent monster released, and like all new monsters now, he dominates the endgame grind and equipment. I think Wilds overall has some of the coolest new monsters that they added to the franchise. I adore pretty much every single new monster they added into the game, or into the series. I mean, we got a whole new class called cephalopods. That's freaking awesome. New Udra is one of my favorite monsters in the series as of right now. He's like in my top 20. Arkveld is awesome. Yet another monster in my top 20. Ray Dow, freaking sick. Also in my top 20. Uthduna is the biggest chunky boy and I love him. Not in my top 20. And then of course Jin Dahad, the GOAT himself, definitely in my top 10. Plus this game's combat is really good. It's very fluid, very smooth, very nice. That's all I can say. I mean, I grew up with 3 Ultimates, so sometimes it does get a little bit too much, but even when it's simple, Monster Hunter is fun. I actually replayed the whole game not too long ago. Wilds is a great game regardless. I have about like 73 hours into it thus far, and if they deliver with the expansion, that number will certainly increase. I am obsessed with roguelikes, and Night Rain is overall a very good one. I like it. Not my favorite, I believe that belongs to Hades too, but good nonetheless. I've clocked in about 115 hours, but of course I'm nowhere near Deep of Night 5. I'll just leave that to you guys and you can brag about it in the comment section. I mean, it's got a great gameplay loop. I like the concept they got going on. The new map is gorgeous, although they, could have done work on the layout. I don't know why they put the most interesting places on the edge of the map, especially when the circle starts closing in after like 30 seconds when you land. It's stupid. I just wish they added more enemies and bosses from Shadow of the Erdtree and or like weapons even like for this game specifically. I'm not a game designer, but you already have the models and animations. It doesn't seem like that much more work, but again, I don't know, so I'm not gonna bash them for it. However, one of my favorite things about this game is, of course, the boss fights. It's weird to say, but I think from the series, or FromSoft in general, some of their best bosses are in this game. The only boss I 100% do not like is the Elden Beast, but depressed. Not my favorite. Everyone else, nearly god tier design. And then they made them even better with the Everdark versions. The most recent ones were the Everdark Balancers, and wow, pure trauma, but I loved it. Once all the Everdark versions have been released, you best believe your boy is going to be making a ranking video on that. Taking the silver medal at number 2 is none other than First Berserker Kazan. Out of all the games I've played that I haven't made a video on, Armored Core 6 is number 1, and Kazan is number 2. I loved this game. I loved how difficult everything was. I loved how stylish the combat was, the art direction was gorgeous, the boss design was incredible, although there were certainly a couple that are on my personal kick in the genitalia list. But that's a part of the course with any Souls-like game. The thing that sticks out to me the most about Kazan is that it has, without question, the most difficult overall boss design I've seen in a video game thus far. What I mean by that is when I take a step back and look at every single boss in the game from Kazan, they were all a problem in their own unique ways. Like in Dark Souls or Lies of P or Elden Ring, yes, of course they harbor very difficult boss fights, but they also have a decent selection of just average or even easier boss design. Kazan did not have that luxury, and from what I remember, it's attributed to their insane health pool. These fights on average were like 4 minutes, even if you were being very aggressive, and their insane combo game. These bosses were styling on me like the main protagonist from an anime, and it was great. I loved it. It does not harbor the most difficult boss of all time, although the final boss is definitely one of the most challenging bosses I've ever faced. But the combat was just so freaking good. I mean, you can cater your build based on parrying, dodging, special attacks, anything like that, and on top of that, you had 3 weapons to choose from, which I know is not a lot of variety, but each weapon had a crazy complex moveset. It reminds me a little bit of recent God of War games with their skill tree. And like that's the best way I can describe it if you haven't played this game. If you can't tell, I love it, and I will for sure come up with any excuse to talk about it again. Now, without further ado, drum roll please. It's probably not gonna happen because that means I have to edit it in and I don't really feel like doing that. My favorite game from 2025, easily my game of the year, Hollow Knight Silk Song. This wasn't just a game for me, it was a prophecy come true. Much like Elden Ring, where we got like a little teaser trailer and then nothing for a couple of years. Silk Song was worse. I think it was like a 6-year difference between the teaser and the actual release date. Yeah, 2009. That was pre-COVID. That's insane, but it was worth the wait because Silk Song was an absolutely gorgeous game through and through. It's one of those games that isn't really a game at a certain point, more like an experience, and that's when I know it's gonna be a masterpiece. I know a lot of my viewers have already played Silk Song, so not much needs to be said. But what I will say is Silk Song is probably in my top 15 games of all time. Maybe even higher than that. I have my complaints for sure, but it doesn't compare to all the things that this game just does right. From the bosses to the level design to the music, dude, the music of this game was beautiful. I still listen to the soundtrack unironically. It's great. Makes my nipples hard. There were powerful moments in the story as well that I honestly did not expect. Maybe it's because I'm older and I've gone through much more and I kind of understand the art direction of a lot of like older games now. But regardless, the story was great. Of course, this goes without saying, but the combat and platforming is just, it's great. It's fluid, it's fast, and when you pair that with some incredible bosses, it's a recipe for a good time. I actually just recently found out I missed on one of the more popular bosses, Scar Singer Camellia, I think is the name. It's the ant lady, so I went back and I beat her in like 30 minutes. But yeah, that about completes my list. Again, I just wanted to make a quick video detailing my personal favorites from this year, and of course, I would love to hear about your own list down below. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and to subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone, and of course, stay safe.